So here's what's going down in New Hampshire. At 4:30 p.m., the sun is setting, like done for the day, okay? So it's going down, it's by 5:30. You're looking at the clock thinking, it's probably time to go to bed soon, right? Oh no, it's time to make dinner. And so all of a sudden, it's getting colder, and by 5:30, it's pitch black, and it can be kind of frustrating and actually pretty miserable, to be honest. So I have been talking to some of you about how you have been feeling a little bit down about this and about how some of you have been in a rut. And so I just wanted to talk about our feelings and how the weather can affect our feelings and how the darkness can affect our feelings, and just sort of like a couple of quick ways that can kind of help us get over that. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was this little thing that we teach every teenager and every kid that comes into the porch. And it is actually on the wall, so we have it painted right on there so we can actually just kind of refer to the wall when they come in. And this is what it is. Your thinking determines how you feel, and your feelings determine your actions, okay? So this is what happens. Say you're a mom, and you start thinking in your mind, I am a horrible mother. I have yelled at my kids 7 times today. I cannot get a handle on myself. What is wrong with me? I am so horrible. And so you start thinking all these things, right? Over and over in your head. Well, what does that make you feel like? After a while, you start feeling horrible. You keep going to the freezer for more ice cream because you just feel so bad. And then you feel horrible about yourself because you feel so fat because you just had all this ice cream. And then pretty soon your actions are getting even worse and worse. You're either yelling at your kids more, or you just start acting in ways that are probably not really good to be acting. So, what typically would happen if somebody were to say, hey, Mike, how have you been lately? And you say, I have been acting horrible. I've been doing this wrong, and I've been yelling at my kids, and I've been mad at my husband, and all this other stuff. And what the person might tell you and what your friend might tell you, it might start out with what your actions are. Okay, well, let's look at your actions and let's see if we can fix it. Okay, we can't. Okay, let's look at your feelings. How are you feeling? You're feeling miserable? Okay, we got to do something about that. But what we should actually be starting with is what you're thinking. That should be the first question. If you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling discouraged, and if you're acting poorly and you're acting discouraged, the first thing you need to think about is what you're thinking about, ironically. And so it starts with, even though it seems like such a simple, basic thing, there's a principle that says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So basically, what you're thinking about yourself is what you're becoming, okay? So if you start saying to yourself, you know what, I'm not a perfect mom, but I'm a pretty good mom. My kids have food, they have clothes, they're alive. Okay, we're doing good. So you start with your thinking, and you start thinking these, not just think positive thoughts like that, but you're thinking positive things. You're thinking about the things that God has said about you, like God has said that He's created you, that He loves you, He's created you for a purpose, He has a plan for your life, all of these things. And so you're thinking all of these things. You're thinking, I can do everything through Christ who gives me strength. When you start filling your mind and focusing your mind on those thoughts, you're going to start feeling a little bit different. You're going to start feeling a little more confident. You're going to start feeling a little bit more secure. And you're going to stop then doing the actions that have been what's getting you in trouble in the first place. Yelling at your kids, getting mad at your husband, whatever the actions are. Obviously, I don't have to say what they are because we all have our own different things that we could fill in the blanks with. So that's the first thing. You need to figure out what it is that you're spending your time thinking about. If you look and you want to write down and figure out what you're thinking about, that is going to be a good thing to look at to get you to realize what you're feeling. And then once you see that, you can see how you're acting as a result of it. So this is just a really simple, basic principle. Maybe it would start with writing things down. That's helpful for me when I can see things in front of me, because sometimes you can just get so overwhelmed that it can be like, I don't even know what's happening, what's going on, how am I getting through the day, all these horrible things are happening, and you don't even know how it started, how it can ever end, and it can sort of seem like it's never going to end. So get out a notebook and write down what you're thinking. Okay, so really think about the thoughts that are going through your mind and try to start from that instead of changing your actions. You're not going to be able to change what your actions are if you haven't changed what your thoughts are. Okay, so that's where you need to start. Second thing is take some of your time and start investing it into the lives of somebody else. It can be a program that's already going on and running that you can either volunteer at or that you can donate something to. Or it can be something that's totally not like that at all. You can start out by saying, okay, I'm going to start writing a letter to one person a week to encourage them. And what happens when you do that is you stop thinking about your own problems and your own feelings and all this stuff that's going on within you, and you're taking all that energy that you have and you're giving it to somebody else and to something else and to a cause that's beyond you that can make you feel like, okay, there's got to be people worse off than me. Like, there's got to be things going on that are harder situations than my situation. And so if I can just stop long enough to figure out what I'm thinking, to start changing the way that I'm thinking, changing the way that I'm thinking about myself, that I'm thinking about my situation, my circumstances, my friends, my family, change how I'm thinking, which is then going to change how I'm feeling, which is then going to change my actions. Now you're going to actually take action and do something with that. So you're going to invest it into somebody else's life. It can be somebody that you know, or it can be somebody that you don't know, that you will never meet or anything. And the thing that's awesome about that is that it needs to be something that you aren't expecting anything in return for. When I volunteer at the porch for the teenagers that come in, honestly, like, I've actually yet to receive a nice long email from a 13-year-old boy just saying how thrilled they are that I am taking time out of my busy schedule to spend time with them on a Monday afternoon for 2 hours. But it's okay, because that's not why I'm doing it. And so that's the point. Sometimes it's almost better to give service to and to volunteer for something that you know you're not going to receive anything back for, because you can realize what your motives are. If your motivation is to do it so that you can get recognized and do it so that you can get noticed, then maybe you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. So if you're in a rut, if you're feeling depressed and discouraged, and I'm looking at the clock right now and I'm thinking, great, I have 15 minutes left until the sun goes down. Okay, that's all right. If you're feeling that way, first of all, you're not alone. There's many other people who are feeling the same way. And second of all, take what I just said and really try to figure out what you're going to do to make a change. Decide that today is going to be the day that is going to be different. You don't want to feel like this anymore. You don't want to be discouraged anymore. And you're just going to make a change. Just do it. Really, you can do it. It's going to feel so good when you do it. So I hope this has encouraged you to get out of that rut that you feel like you're in, to get out of that feeling of despair and discouragement, or even just being tired. Sometimes it can just be sheer exhaustion because you've just been running like crazy so much. Take a minute to stop, figure out what you're thinking, change that, and then make one decision to start serving and giving back to somebody else besides yourself. So, do it. I know you can do it. Email me and tell me when you do it. I would love to keep you accountable. Saying it out loud is so helpful, because we can think it, we can see this and be like, yeah, that's right, I'm going to do it, and then kind of forget about it. So if you have something that comes to your head right now as you're watching and listening to this, please email me, because then I'm going to email you back and say, hey, did you do that? You said you were going to do that. I would love to keep you accountable, because you're going to feel so good when you do. I hope you have a great weekend.